At the KSMO studios, we welcome you to Tuesday morning. It is the 12th day of December. It's Intercounty Tuesday, and lo and behold, they're here.
I'm here.
Heather's made it.
A little chilly morning.
Yes, it is. It's a little cool out there. I think the wind chill this morning was 16.
Oh, that's a lot cooler than I thought it was.
Yeah, it was 20 here. I don't know
Yeah.
what it was in Licking, but it was 20 here. And
Yeah.
with a little wind,
Little
as we were
cold.
getting out of Southwest, is 16. I was like, woo.
I mean, it is December. We've got to remember that. But
It is December.
this weekend, Saturday was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it was 60-something degrees. And then
it
Sunday
spoils
was
you a little bit.
whole different day,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, very good. So you doing good?
Doing well. You?
Doing good. Well, you made it through Thanksgiving.
Survived. Now we're headed to Christmas.
This is the time you start to waddle because you get the cookies and the great meals.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the parties and a lot of things
And
start
there's
happening.
extras everywhere.
Right, and if you're
Yeah.
preparing cookies for the kids, well, you
gotta make sure they're
sample.
okay.
That's right. You wouldn't
Yeah.
want to give your kids some bad cookies. That
Right.
would not be good.
No.
Anyway, but nonetheless, we're thankful you're here and
Well, thank you.
made it through Thanksgiving safely, and it was a good Thanksgiving for
It
you?
was.
Mhm.
Yes,
Very good.
absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
All right, well, something else good comes from our conversation today, capital credits.
Capital credits.
We
Absolutely.
always like capital credits.
I
Can we
know.
get them every month?
That would be nice. I will submit your request.
It's just a thought.
Right? You're just starting off with a good idea, aren't you?
It's a great idea. It's not going to happen.
Not
but
gonna
it's a
happen.
great idea.
It is.
It would be nice. But capital credits are coming.
They are. And if you're not familiar with capital credits, just a little background. As you recall, Intercounty is a co-op. We're not for profit. So what that means is that anytime we make more than what we need, we allocate that back to our members based on their usage. So if you and I this year had different usage at our home, if you used way more electricity than I did, then your portion of those capital credits is going to be larger than mine.
larger, right.
Because it's based on what you've used in comparison to the total use. And then each year, our board takes a look at the financial condition of the co-op. They kind of look at what we've brought in that year, what expenses are expected to be the next year. Lot of number crunching, and then they take a look at what they can retire in capital credits.
And let's make it clear, this capital credit is not what you used last year.
It's not. So
Goes
and
back a few years.
It does. This year, we're finishing out Intercounty's portion. First of all, the total is $3.2 million, which is exciting to be able to give back a substantial amount to our members.
As long as you can get it to the people.
As long as we can get it. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. We'll
We'll
wrap
address
up with
that,
that.
yeah.
But the portion that Intercounty is paying out, it finishes up 2003 and starts 2004. And we get asked every year, why? Why are you 20 years behind? Why are you paying out 2003 and 2004? If you think back to when the co-op first started, nearly 80 years ago, they didn't have it to return
I wasn't there.
because they were reinvesting it. I mean,
Sure,
if
it
you
was
think
put
about
back all
the
the time.
co-op, and we've got over 5,600 miles of line, a lot of that in those first couple of decades that's when it was built. And the money that was made in excess of what they needed, they turned around and reinvested that in the co-op, and they grew the co-op and expanded the lines and got
And
electricity.
added more customers.
And added more
then
members,
added more
right.
money.
Right. So it is on a cycle, but that money, and we've been asked, well, why don't you pay it back right away? Why can't you just start paying it back right away? The capital credits and that rotation, they help keep our member rates low because back to the very beginning, if they were able to use that to reinvest, they weren't taking out loans and having to pay interest. And they were able to grow the co-op without those extra expenses. So it can be complicated, but it's actually very simple.
It is very simple. And
And-
Heather, people just think in your own household. Okay, let's just say you buy a car and you have to buy it on credit. So let's say you're on a 60-month note. I'm going to be just real simple with it.
Right.
That car might be worth 20. Well, that'd be a cheap car anyway today. But let's say $20,000 when you got it. You're paying it off, and you've got that commitment every month to pay that off. Okay. Well, now you might have extra money. You might want to pay it off early, but maybe you got such a great interest rate. Why would you get them your money early? Okay, so you hold on to it. You make those monthly payments just like you're supposed to,
Right.
and you do the right thing. So you have that money to make the monthly payments. So let's just say that you bought that car and everything's going good, and all of a sudden, Intercounty is going to have to make these changes. Government regulations come down and all the time. I
Right.
mean, like every
Right.
day. But also expansion, equipment, other trucks. So all of a sudden, you're moving along really nice. The payments are good. The income is steady. And all of a sudden, you got to buy a new truck, or you got to buy poles. You got to buy. Now you're borrowing money
Right.
if you don't have it.
Right.
So if you borrow that money, well, who's going to pay that interest? Who's going to pay for those poles? Well, then, would you rather get a bill from Intercounty saying, by the way, your portion of the last 700 poles we bought was this, and you owe it to us? Or have that money kept aside, nice little buffer right there, so when they need equipment, when they need trucks, when they need to expand, or if they need to put in a new system for whatever reason. We all know things change all the time, right?
Right.
They've got the money.
Right.
And you're not taxed. You're not paying extra. You don't even know it. It's just like a feather coming over top of you. You don't
Right.
even know it's there.
Lots of moving parts, but I'll tell you, we've got a really great director of accounting that is sharp on this stuff, and you've got a really good accounting team at the co-op. You've got a board that, I mean, they're looking at these things and they're making decisions based on what's best for our members. So while it might seem like paying back 2003, 2004 seems a little far-fetched, there's a
It really
reason
isn't.
for that.
Yeah.
And even if you move off, I mean, sometimes we have people say, well, I'm moving this year. Now I'm not going to ever get anything. Well, you are, because we keep record of what we allocated for all those years. And when we get to the point where we're paying out the years that you had service, even if you're not a member with us anymore, we'll still mail you a check. And that kind of goes to what you mentioned earlier. As long as we know how to get it to you, if we've got a good address, we'll get that to you. So Intercounty's paying out 2003 and 2004, but then there were several years back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where Show Me Power, our power provider,
You should give you credits.
they just gave it, they were essentially paper IOUs that
Yeah.
said, hey, we know we owe you capital credits. We promise to pay them at a future date. Because they were doing similar things for their
Sure.
co-ops, for Intercounty. I mean,
And you're purchasing electric from them.
right. And they are paying those back now. The last several years they have been. So the other part of that $3.2 million comes from Show Me's, and it's a portion of actually 3 different years, 1999, 2000, and 2001.
And that's about it. It's about 2001 they stopped doing that. Somewhere right in that vicinity.
Right. So if you had service in any of those years, 99, 2000, 2001, 2003, or 2004, you may be getting a capital credit check in the mail. And I say may because it all depends on how much you used. And last year
sure.
I was excited because I'm like, 2003, that's when I first got service put in my name. But it was
You're not that old.
2003. That's
You're
when,
not that old.
Yep.
You're
Got my-
not that old.
Got my first house. Sure did.
You're scaring me.
But at any rate, I did not get a check because it was only a percentage of that year, and it was only a partial year that I had moved
And you
in
didn't
anyway.
use enough electric.
Didn't use enough because there is a minimum of $10 before Intercounty will cut a check, and that is fairly new. Within the last several years, we've done that. There were a lot of years we were cutting checks for $2, $3, $4. And then if it got returned and had to be sent back out, it just
Cost of postage.
it was not very cost effective to do that. So we're not keeping your money. We're just hanging on to it until it reaches that $10 minimum. Once it reaches at least $10, then the check will be issued and sent out to you. Now, if it's the last year, if say 2003, 2004, that was the last years that you had service,
You'll get a check.
and it's less than $10, then they'll do your final payout if
Right.
it's less. But yeah, so
So it's crazy.
It
A
is.
lot of people forgot about that. Show Me used to offer credits, and Intercounty got them. The city of Salem used to get them. It was an incentive. You buy your electric from Show Me, and the more you bought, the better of the bigger the credits you got. And it was a pretty cool thing because actually for the city of Salem, it was a huge savings at that time, and that's why they could keep their rates so low. because of the credits that they got. Well,
That's
people
interesting.
forget that all changed. I remember when it changed and Show Me came and said, well, we're not going to offer credits anymore. They kept dwindling them down for like the last 3 years of the 90s, I think, and I think 2001 was the last year. But those credits got smaller and smaller and smaller, and finally they got away from it, and then they weren't going to issue any credits whatsoever anymore. And things had changed, and the regulatory agencies, whoever they are, I don't know, there's so many of them, but they were making them change things from coal to try and get different systems, and Show Me's going to have to put all the money back into development.
Right.
There's not going to be more credits.
Huh.
So got a little scary there for a while, because that's when electric rates for many municipalities just started to skyrocket, because they were used to getting those credits, which kept their rates competitive and low.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah, I remember when it happened, and I was at an alderman meeting when Show Me showed up and said,
No more.
it's going to change. And then after that initial transition of 2-3 years, you're going to have to sign a 7-year contract to use their services. Because now they're putting these new systems are coming out that were independent energy providers. And so deregulation of the energy was being happened. I thought one of the worst things you could do is deregulate, but somebody's going to make money somewhere.
Well,
Wasn't going to be us. Somebody was.
yeah,
Anyway, nonetheless, so those monies are coming back. It's called capital credits.
they are.
And
This month, I don't have the date when those are going to be mailed. I've been told mid to late December. So
well, we're mid-December now.
we're pretty, I mean, I think today counts as mid.
Yeah, 12, 13. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say.
So,
You're in the middle third of the month.
right, that's
Okay.
mid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
mid.
But it'll be nice this time of year. I mean, there's
Get
added
a Christmas card with it?
expenses.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Merry Christmas on the envelope?
I was gonna say we should have seen if we could have put Merry Christmas on the envelope, huh?
Been a nice
Thinking
idea.
alike. Yeah.
Anyway, but they are coming.
They are.
And the capital credits. So, kind of in a nutshell, try to explain capital credits to you. But, there's a nice article in Rural Missouri explains capital credits. Probably better than we can. And just take a quick read of that, and you'll understand why they're held back and different things of that nature, and what I was talking about with the Show Me credits, which probably are taking a few people by surprise. They didn't even know that.
Right. Well, to them, it's one capital credit check.
Yeah.
And the reason why, I mean, we kind of explained that, but Intercounty bought power from Show Me, and just like we as individuals are members of Intercounty and we get those margins back, Intercounty is a member of Show Me, so they returned their capital credits and returned them to Intercounty. And since we're not for profit, we're not keeping that. That also we just pass on to our members.
There you go. Very good.
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's good news.
That is good news. I mean,
that's good
everybody
news.
looks forward to their check.
But you know what? There's bad news at this time of year, too. Scammers.
Oh, scammers. I thought you were going to talk about the list of unclaimed ones.
No,
I'm like,
no,
that
no,
don't come
no,
till
no.
this summer.
Well, yeah,
But before we get on to scammers, I do want to just put a
talk
plug
about
in
the
here.
list?
I do, because
Okay.
we're getting ready to mail these out. And if you're listening and you've moved off of Intercounty Service
Well, yeah,
Territory,
we should do it.
you can still get that check. In fact, we're going to try to send it to you. We want to get it to you because in the summer, we'll publish a huge list
And it's huge.
of small font
Very small
names
font.
and estimated amounts of unclaimed capital credits. It's capital credit checks we've tried to get to our members, and we'll have a ton returned this go round too, I'm
yeah.
sure. So please just make sure your mailing address is kept current with us after you move 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. It doesn't matter. If you move just inside the city and not very far, or if you move out of state, doesn't matter. We will mail you your check. We just have to know
Where to mail it.
where to mail it to. So please keep that address updated with us.
And the same thing if your parents or grandparents were on Intercounty, they have capital credit checks coming to them. Now, of course, they may no longer be with us, but if you're the address that took over for their estate or trust or whatever it might be,
Right.
get that to Intercounty so that you can receive
Right,
that
because
check.
we want to make sure if the member is no longer living, then those capital credits go to the surviving family members.
Right.
That's not,
It's
you're
only-
not the first person that's going to ask for that. That happens all the time, and that's what we want. We want
Right.
that money to go to the surviving family members. We just need to know that there's been a death, and that there is a one-page affidavit that we ask that you fill out and get back to us.
It's not hard.
It's not difficult, no.
Basically, you need to know who the survivors are.
Right.
And then how you want the distribution
and where
to
to
be
send
made.
the check.
Yeah. And a lot of times, if you would like, you can just donate that back to Roundup, which is meeting today. Some people
They
do
are
that,
meeting
don't
today.
they?
We do. We have a handful that, and for numerous reasons, some people just want to be able to donate it. There's others that have multiple surviving children, and they don't want to split it 8 ways because it seems
$3 check
very
seems kind of weird.
Yeah. So they just decided to donate it back to Roundup. Or we've had some businesses that have gone out, and then it's kind of awkward. What are they? They're no longer a business, but the check's in the business name. And how do you do this? They've signed it off that it goes to Operation Roundup, and it helps that foundation and helps our members, and it's
It
all
goes
good.
to good use.
It does. It absolutely does.
So it's not wasted. So again, if you have any questions, you can just call Intercounty and just say, look, hey, we moved. I know I sent a change of address card the first 3 times, but you probably don't have my new address.
Right. And when you're moving, you might think that first time, okay, I'm moving. I need to make sure Intercounty knows so they can send me my final bill. But after you move the second time, it would be easy to forget to remember to contact Intercounty, especially if you've not started getting those checks yet.
Right.
You know.
You know, a lot of times, and I would see it more when people who lived in their residence for years and years and years and either get too old to maintain it, and then they sell it, and they give you the older people who are moving, maybe moving into a smaller place, maybe in town, close, maybe a senior center, something of that nature, where they're all concentrated, which is fine. And it's a good thing to do. They take care of that forwarding, but then when something happens to them, their children don't think about that.
Right. Valid point.
And that happened to my grandfather. As a matter of fact, my grandmother and grandfather moved out to a farm. They were in the city for all their life. And my dad and my uncle got together and asked what he wanted to do. They loved gardening, but some of the new restrictions in the city of St. Louis prohibited some of the gardening.
Okay.
It could only be so much of your yard. Well, they did not like that. And so they were, at constant odds with the guy coming through from the city inspector.
Measuring
come through.
how big their garden was. Oh, wow.
He said, we've been doing this for 40 years. You guys suddenly take over. We have to change. Why? What were we doing wrong? Nothing. Well, then why do we have to change now? Because it's no longer allowed. It seems like a pretty
Harsh,
dumb rule, but nonetheless, it happened. And so they wanted to move out and get a farm. Well, they found a farm, and they all went in and bought it, and so they went and raised some cattle and bought 55 acres and had a 1.5 acre garden. The grandkids got to go garden. They got to go hoe the weeds and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a big place. Well, so they moved from the city, moved out there. So, of course, change of address from city utilities out to Wentzville. And then they were there. Then they moved into an assisted living in St. Charles, and they took care of that. From the assisted living, and eventually I went into a nursing home. Nobody took care of that one.
Yeah.
So that I know that my dad got a notice. I think it's Quiver River Electric up that way, the co-op, and got a notice that, and I don't even know how it got to him. It was sent to the people at their old address, and they knew who my dad was,
And
so
was
they
able to
sent it
forward
to
it.
him. And they said they had capital credits.
Well, that was awfully kind.
So, but if they don't know the address, they can't do anything.
Right.
I mean, Intercounty, normally people don't go open the mail to find out what that is, unless they just don't see whose address is on it.
Yeah.
And then they may look at it and think, oh, yeah, well, that's not me. But in this case, it was just a real nice gentleman, and then he just forwarded that on to my dad and
Yeah.
told him about it. So
He was
able
able
to get the capital credits, and actually gave them to my grandparents, who were even though in a nursing facility, they could still buy little things there. So,
Right. Well, good.
So anyway, but it was
Yeah.
it's a little bit different. It's just hard to keep track of that after
Yeah.
15, 20 years.
But the point is, it belongs to you. It belongs to the member, and if the member is no longer with us, then it belongs to the member's family. We're not trying to keep those. We make every effort to notify people of those, and if they are left unclaimed for 2 years, they are reabsorbed back into the co-op, and then they're dispersed in that year's margins. So whatever expired this year went into the pot for this year, and that'll be allocated out to the members who have service this year. And when we get to the point where we're paying 2023 out, then that'll be part of the unclaimed ones from
Yeah. That's a shame.
this year. Yeah,
It's a shame not to get the money that you so rightly deserve.
that's right.
So, again, if you have family members who are part of Intercounty at any time, and it doesn't even have to be for this capital credit check. It could have been 10 years ago.
Right.
Make sure that Intercounty has an address. And a phone call can do it, can't it?
It can, absolutely.
And what's that number? Do you remember the...
Maybe in my sleep, I think. Our toll-free number is 866-621-3679. And if you just call, even if you're not sure if your address is updated, but you think it is, it doesn't hurt to call. Just, hey, I'm no longer a member, but I wanted to make sure my address was updated. They can pull up your account, even though it's closed. We keep those records, so
it's
we keep
there.
record of your capital credits. We can verify your address is right, and then go about with your day.
Is there a way to check that on Smart Hub?
Well, I'm not sure
don't think
once
there
you
is there?
close your account, if you're no longer a member, if you don't have current service, I don't think your account would still be, you're not going to be logging into,
Well, no, you
Smart
can't.
Hub.
No, I guess.
yeah.
But you can on Smart Hub, by the way. Go back and look at those old rural Missouri June letters.
Yeah, you can do that.
And
Just-
make sure you magnify
Yeah, just
everything
zoom in real
quite
good.
big.
Especially if you're looking at it on your phone, you'll definitely want to zoom
Well, on
in.
your phone, you may not ever get it big enough.
Right.
But it's definitely worth the time to go back. And if you see something there and you say, hey, wait a minute, that's my grandfather, or hey, that's my uncle, or whatever, then let
Right.
Intercounty know.
Call
you
in.
know, more than likely, it'll still be available.
That's right. Good stuff.
It's just opportunity. And
Mm-hmm.
it's knocking for you. You know, and it's not just Intercounty that has money like set back like that. I mean, unclaimed property in the
Yeah.
state of Missouri
Yep.
is huge.
You're absolutely
billions
right.
of dollars. And so, people make deposits on electric and things of that nature. They forget about them. And then all of a sudden, they're no longer a customer or whatever, or moved and didn't get their deposit back. And guess what? It's still waiting for you
Yeah,
in unclaimed property.
that's right.
Kind of crazy. All right, are we done?
I know, but I don't like the next thing we have to
I
talk
don't like
about.
it either, but it's holiday time, and you know as well as I do, it's scam city out there.
It is, yeah. And, we've talked about scams several times this year, and there's been months where we've just really seen an increase in them, and then there's been some months where there's not been as many. But I'm like you, Stan, this time of year, I really think we're going to see a lot of scammers trying to scam people out of their money. And they might claim to be with Intercounty. They might claim to be with your propane company or your bank, or, who knows what business they'll claim to be with. But the main point is you've got to protect your financial information. If they're asking for bank account or credit or debit card information over the phone, be leery. And I'll tell you, if they're claiming to be with Intercounty, absolutely. Hang up the phone, call us back at our number. But I would bet any other business out there is not going to care for me to say the same thing for them. If they're claiming to be with your bank, if it's really your bank, they're not going to care if you hang up and call them back directly. They understand. We're all dealing with the same thing. Whether you're members or customers, we don't want to see our people taken advantage of. So please just be hesitant if somebody's asking for that information over the phone.
Especially if they tell you, hey, you have a capital credits check coming, but we have to get this information first.
Yep.
I can already see it.
Yeah. Yep. We just need your address. We already got all your
Right. And
yeah.
so, and then they'll say, well, for you to get that capital credit check, you're going to have to do this.
Yeah. And years ago, when these scams, phone scams first started to really become a thing, it was almost blatantly obvious it wasn't intercounty. The caller may have been really difficult to understand. They were very threatening.
Right.
We're going to disconnect your power right now if you don't pay right now. And there were a lot of red flags, and our members, for the most part, they're like, hey, this doesn't really sound like intercounty. But these scammers, they've evolved,
yeah.
and
Very sophisticated.
they are. And you might get a scam call that says, this is so-and-so with intercounty, and this is just a courtesy call. We got your payment in the mail, but you didn't sign your check. Would you like to stop by the office to sign that, or would you like to just make a payment over the phone?
I'll stop by the office.
I mean, but that's the difference. They've
Oh, yeah.
realized that threatening tone. And I'm not saying there won't still be some that are very threatening and demanding. And hey,
Sure.
we've got a serviceman on your
Right.
road right now, and he's headed there. There may still be calls like that, but they may also be
Sweet
kind.
and lovable.
Yeah, just hey, this is your local electric co-op. And
Hey, well,
we're
the
looking
one
out
that-
for you.
Right.
And
Well, the one that came up, especially I think last summer, where you could buy this discounted electric.
Discounted electric.
Yeah, but you
And-
got to buy it right now.
right. And those scammers, I mean, they had done a little bit of research, and hopefully no one fell for that. But their message was, hey, we're a co-op and we share our savings with our members. And we got discounted kilowatt hours sold to us, so we're passing that savings on to our members. Would you be interested in buying a discounted block at
Sure.
so much
Absolutely.
money? I mean, they're crafty, and we can't tell you exactly what they're going to say to try
No.
to scam you because it's constantly changing. But if at any point anybody claiming to be with whatever business, if they ask you for your bank account number and routing number, that should be
Should be a
That should be
telltale
red
sign
flag.
that that's
Yes.
not a good thing. And one of the things that I'm seeing, well, I'm not seeing it personally, but I'm hearing about it occasionally, is that right now, of course, now Brightspeed has come in. They've got their fiber in there. So right now, they have contacted some people either by phone or email and things of that nature. Okay, I mean, I get it. But they're wanting you to lock in for whatever 3 months or whatever, okay, which is fine, which is normal. Well, now I see some people taking off that, saying that Intercounty is going to raise their rates, or somebody's going to raise
If
their
you don't
rates
lock
if you
in.
don't lock it in. You have to lock it in, but it has to be an auto payment to lock it in, and that's actually what is on Brightspeed. It's in their contract. The only way to lock the price in that they're offering right now, you have to have an auto payment. So when you hear about that, auto payment means you're going to be giving credit card numbers or bank account numbers, and either way, automatic withdrawal, or you can do it on a credit card, but that means you're giving out information. So that is a scary thing. There is no locking in of intercounty rates, though.
There's not.
There is none, and nothing that they would have would require you to give out that information to lock in or secure a spot.
right.
So I'm just letting you know that. But it is right now with Brightspeed. That is the way you have to do it, and it can be a little
Yeah.
deceiving. Or they may say they're with Intercounty and they're offering something through Brightspeed.
Right.
You
never
just don't
know.
know how they're going to say it. We're going to offer you internet service that you can't believe. It's going to blow your head off. Well, they're going to blow your head off with the amount of money they're going to take out of
Yeah,
your
and they're
account.
going to take as much as they can out of your account. Yeah. Just be hesitant. And like I said, hang up, call that business back directly, not at a number that they give you. We had that a few months ago, actually, earlier this year. We had a young local couple, and there were, looking back, they see the red flags, but immediately they didn't. They were told that they could make payment over the phone to avoid disconnection, but it would process immediately if it was on a prepaid Visa card. And so they went to Walmart and bought a prepaid Visa card and then called Intercounty back, but they called back at
It
the
wasn't
number
Intercounty.
that they gave them and gave that gift card, essentially, information over, and there's no way to track that.
No.
They lost lots of money, and that's a shame. But call Intercounty back or call that business that they're claiming to be back at a number that you know is theirs, not one they give you. Look up their number. Hopefully you've got Intercounty's number stored in your phone. It wouldn't be a bad
If
thing.
not, just call Heather.
If
She's got
not,
it.
call. Just call. Absolutely. And, even if it's nights or weekends, if you get a call and it panics you and you think, well, maybe they are working this weekend and maybe they are going to turn my power off if I don't pay. We have a dispatcher. They're not going to be able to take a payment over the phone for you, but they can look up your account and confirm
Tell
that it's
you.
paid or not paid. But more than that, they're going to be able to tell you, no, we do not have anyone working right now. Nobody's doing disconnects.
Or if you have Smart Hub, you can look yourself.
Yes, and Smart Hub's been a really great tool, hopefully, for our members that are getting these scam calls. If there's any hesitation, if they think right away, oh, I don't actually remember if I paid my bill this month or not, and there's a little bit of doubt, they can open that app up really quickly, or they can hop on their computer real quick and look at their account and then say, no, I paid that at the Raw office on the 14th, or, whatever it might have been. So Smart Hub's been really great. And if you're not using that, I would really encourage you to download that app, get an account set up. It is. Yep.
Good tool.
Absolutely.
Use it for a lot of different things. Check your own usage, and you can follow your payments. And if you see a payment jump out of whack, go see what your usage is. Something, if you don't remember
Big
15
change.
kids coming into your house and using a lot of electric for a week and a half,
If you don't remember 15 kids in your house for a week and a half,
you may not have been there.
you may not have been there.
Well, but you know what I'm saying is like this time of year with electric lights and different things of that nature. Now, grant you, LED lights have made a major change in a lot of that usage, but still, some people still use spotlights for their Christmas stuff, or they use generators for their blow-up, beautiful displays.
Right.
And nothing wrong with that. But do anticipate that your electric bill for this month
Will be higher.
or 2 months, if you do it in Thanksgiving and for Christmas, it's going to be higher. I'm not going to say double, I'm not saying that, but it will be above normal. And you can go back and look at your previous years to see where that
the
fits
pattern.
in.
Yeah.
So it really is kind of nice. And one of the nice things that I like about when I use Smart Hubs, I look back, first I see what my bill is, and then I see what my bill was last year. If it's like $1, $2, $3 off, it makes me feel good. I'm using the same amount. That's number one. Number two, that means the prices haven't gone up much of anything, which is also good. Makes you feel pretty comfortable that you're not being robbed of the inflationary cost of everything else that's gone up, like food and everything
Right.
else. And it's just out of sight. So your electric costs have been fairly stable, which is, again, very comforting to let you know that you are right on track with where you're supposed to be. Everything's working like it should. Now, we all know, Heather, that doesn't always happen. You have spikes. We may have a super cold front come through or super hot front come through where all of a sudden everybody and their brother is using their heater.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, not only are they using their normal furnace, but they're using those space
Extra.
heaters
And
everywhere.
and one of the neat features of Smart Hub, while we're talking about how many things it has to do, you can look at your usage patterns, but there's an option to overlay your weather data over that. So if you've got maybe a month, like you said, where, well, Saturday, it was a beautiful Saturday, but
Right.
then look at Sunday and look at today, and it's much colder. Once you get your bill for the usage for these days, you're going to be able to overlay that weather data, and you're going to see Saturday, your usage was probably low,
Yeah.
but the temperature was high. And there's a direct correlation
Absolutely.
most of the time, unless you've got something that's going wrong. You're going to see in the days that the usage is really high, that's going to correlate to temperatures that are really low. And it's neat to just see that, to have that visual. Okay, the pattern makes sense. I forgot how cold it was or how nice it was that day.
Or what you used when it got that cold, because that's when those portable space heaters suddenly come out of the mothballs.
Yeah.
And you're using them all of a sudden. Well, man, it's so cold in here. My feet are freezing. I want to go get my space heater.
Put some socks on.
Put some socks on.
Yeah.
And use a blankie. I mean, whatever you need to do.
Right.
But as soon as you hit that space heater, you're going to increase your electric bill. And it's true. It's just going to happen. People do that out of
Comfort.
habit.
Yeah.
That's what they used to do years ago, and we're just trying to give you another option,
Mm-hmm.
try and save you some money, because it will happen. And when it does happen, we know that we saw, what was it, last year, 2 years ago, we had that one super cold day, -20. Bang! It's just in the middle of December. That was in December, by the way, and when it got -20 with a wind chill, you're gonna
We're
have an
using
effect.
a lot of electric.
It's going to have an effect, and then it's not just going to warm up to 60 that day.
Right.
So it's going to be
It
a cold
lingers.
day, and then it's going to be cloudy, and also you can also check when, not only with the temperature, but also clouds. If it's a very cloudy day, you're going to use more electric, and it doesn't sound logical, but you're not getting that sun's rays warm up your home, which it automatically does. It hits your roof, or ceiling, your metal roof, doesn't matter, shingles, whatever. It will warm up your home, and it does. I'm not saying it's going to warm up your home like it's a solar house all of a sudden, but
Right.
it will provide heat when it's a cloudy day and it's a cooler day. That cooler air takes over, and your roof is cold, meaning that when you turn your furnace on, guess what? It has to heat up the roof as well.
Right.
More energy goes right out. It's not going out the tubes, but it has to warm up more
It,
things in
it
your home.
works harder.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yep.
A lot of stuff. So use SmartHub. If you don't have it, it's really not very hard to join.
It's not. No. You click sign up and you follow a couple of instructions. It's
Pretty
going to
much
ask
it, yeah.
for your email address, and you'll select Enter
Account
County
number.
from
yeah.
there's a drop down list of a
Right.
bunch of different co-ops.
If you have your bill in your hand and you go to SmartHub, you can answer every
You
question.
can. And if you're struggling with getting it set up, give us a call. We'll try to walk you through it over the phone.
You guys do that too?
We do that too. Or if you're in the office, you can just, we've had people come in and just be like, here's my phone. I cannot figure it out. And we will help you. Annual meeting, actually, we've got
Oh, yeah.
reps
Okay,
in the member service tent, and we've got a kind of a smart hub area where people share
It's a good idea.
about
yeah.
that information. We have people every year that'll just say, can you help me? Here's my phone. How do I get it on here? How do I get my account on here? So really great tool. We will certainly try to help you get that set up on your device.
And that's fine to get on your phone, but I honestly swear to you that you'd be more happy putting it on your CPU, because you can print out everything that you have on SmartHub if you want to keep a record. You can't really do that off your phone very well. So I highly recommend it, because that's exactly what I do. When I see something come through, I make my payment, I can print off the receipt, I can do everything right there, but I can print off usage. Not easy to do that on your phone. Now, there are some phones you can obviously link to a printer, which is fine as long as you're near the printer when you're paying your bill, and don't forget. But right there on a CPU, if you have your own laptop or whatever and it's linked to a printer, it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
It really makes it very convenient. So, hey, there's
But
just a lot of different options
Yeah.
you can do at SmartHub. Just a lot
Yep.
of good stuff on there. So we're gonna jump to another topic, though, and I
Okay.
want to get to this one because we're at that time of year. Not that it's going to happen,
It's like insurance, isn't it?
but it could happen.
It could.
We already talked about a -20 day. You know, when it gets -20, you do not want to be without heat. It's going to be really
Absolutely.
cold. But also, there's times, we unfortunately are in that time of year, when ice storms can develop. And there's nothing anybody can do about these,
Right.
but they can create havoc if
Absolutely.
it becomes too heavy and lines come down and you're going to be without electric. We've talked about it many times, but this is the time of year we really, really want to remind people about backup generators.
Right.
Have you guys gotten in your adapters yet?
Our GeneraLink
Yeah.
devices, we're struggling with inventory
You're
on
still
those.
not able to get them in?
I mean, we're taking care of. We don't have a stock of them, but we're able to take care of.
You're able to
them.
get them in.
We're able to get them in. It's not a 2-day shipping. It's not quick. So, I guess the most important thing I can share today, and what Stan's talking about, is how to safely operate a generator should you be in a situation where you're without power and you need to. Depending on the size of your generator, you're either going to need a double throw switch, or some people call transfer switch. Or if it's a smaller generator, you're going to need a GeneraLink device. And what that is, it's a device that's actually installed behind your meter base.
Right.
And it's got a spot up underneath there where you
Right.
plug in a cord
That matches your generator.
that matches your generator. And it helps, first and foremost, it helps protect our guys, our crews out working on the lines. Back feed is a real thing, and it can absolutely harm or worse people that are working on that line. So
And let's tell people what back feed is, because they may not understand that, because a lot of people years ago have a generator. They put the generator, hopefully you put it outside, but then they run an extension cord and plug it
they
in.
absolutely are going to put it outside.
Well, let's
Yeah.
let's hope that they
Okay.
do. You know, if you don't, then you're not going to be around to worry about this. But
That's the
carbon
truth.
dioxide
Yeah.
is real, guys. It is. However, they would take an extension cord and plug it into their plug inside to get them electric. Mm-hmm. And guess what? You've now energized your house, but there's no energy on the other side of that meter until that line gets energized. And guess what? Now you've got a battle.
Yeah.
And that can really be dangerous.
It can. And that's what we want to prevent. We want all of our crews out there working on the line to be able to work safe and to be able to go home to their families, and we don't want power to feed back onto the line and cause a safety concern out there. But we also want to make sure the equipment that you're plugging in your home, that it's protected. And these devices help that, because
Absolutely.
when the power comes back on, you don't want a big surge of power all at once to your devices. They're obviously important to you. That's why you've got them plugged in during the outage, and we don't want to see any of that damage. So these transfer switches or the GeneraLink devices, double throws, I mean, whatever you end up needing based on the size of generator
Right.
that you have, that's going to protect you and your family and your belongings. It's going to protect the crews out working on the line. It's just, it's necessary. And you mentioned, hopefully it's something you never have to use. Hopefully you don't have to use the generator. Hopefully this winter we don't have any issues with ice. I can't believe you said that almost 4-letter word.
I didn't say the almost four-letter word.
We don't like it. We don't like ice. But you don't know. And outages can happen any time of the year. I mean, there's vehicle accidents sometimes
Sure.
that involve power poles.
And this can
or
happen in the
spring
summer, too.
storms. I mean, there's a number of things. But we do normally see an increase in the number of calls about generators this time of year, because people start thinking about winter outages, and they don't want to be without heat.
No. So, anyway, but I wanted to bring it up because it is that time of year, and a lot of people wait until the ice storm and then decide they need to go buy a generator, and then it's too late to get your GeneraLink at that time.
Not only will you probably have a hard time finding generators, but we're going to have a hard time getting the equipment in as quickly as what you're going to need it. So please, it's kind of like we've talked before about engineering and contacting an engineer when you're going to build your house. Don't wait until the last minute to notify us of some of these things.
Sure.
We want to make sure we have plenty of time so that we're ready when you're ready, and everything kind of falls into place and there's no emergency.
But
Don't.
out of sight, out of mind, Heather. It's not
It is.
happening. Here
Right.
it is, September. It's beautiful, and I've got
Yeah.
a nice breeze, and I'm on my deck, and I'm enjoying the day. And I should be on the phone to Intercounty and finding out about a new GeneraLink for the back of my meter, and so I can be protected, and maybe getting that generator all set up, maybe even checking it to make sure it's all good.
Yep.
But we get, I don't want to say lazy, and that would be a bad term. We get preoccupied
We do.
with life, and we don't think about those things until all of a sudden Mother Nature comes with a hockey stick and smacks you right across the face.
Right. And you don't
And
want
you'll
that
notice
to happen.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes from 15 to 20 below. You're going to notice that.
Right. It's cold.
And then you're thinking, oh, wow, I forgot to call. And that's now too late to do that. Okay.
Right. We're not going to be able to get what you need fast
Right.
enough.
So right now, make yourself a great Christmas gift.
There you go.
Contact Intercounty. Tell them what you need.
Right.
tell them the type of generator you have, and they can possibly get you the GeneraLink you want on order so that they can have it as quickly as they can get them in. I'm not going to say how long that's going to be because I have no idea.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're pleasantly surprised. Other times we're quite disappointed. So it just...
Or if you don't have a generator yet, and this might be another option, and you can contact Intercounty and say, I'm looking to do this. Do I need a double throw transfer switch, or do I need GeneraLink? And they can tell you that as well.
Right.
So you don't go get a GeneraLink and you really don't need it. You need a transfer switch. Well, that's a little bit more advanced and a little bit more expensive.
Right. Yeah. There's differences based on what you have for your home, but we can help you figure out what you need. And
well, usually the
make sure
transfer
safe.
switch is something that goes on immediately once the electric goes off, which
Right.
you don't even have to worry about. And then
Right. They're
it just
those-
goes out to your backup source, which, by the way, is not electric, Intercounty Electric. That's not your backup source.
Right. It's not going to work.
You're going to have another fuel.
Yeah.
And so, but we want to remind everybody, this is a very important thing because I'm trying to knock on wood here. We've been very fortunate in the last couple of years. We have not had severe storms that have really created this havoc, but we all have been through them in which
We have,
generators
right.
run out. People are out of electric. They can't get their electric fixed. Because I can give and nothing against the linemen. They have nothing to do with it. When you got miles and miles down with ice damaged lines, and you have to go back and you have to retrace that steps, holy cow.
Well,
It takes forever.
especially if it's a continuing storm,
That's what I mean.
you know.
Get those big, thick, half-inch ice storms. Well, it's going to
That's
pull
bad.
down. It's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
pull down wires here and there, not just all in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one over here. There's one over there.
Right.
Where's that one going? Is it going to a transformer? Is it going to
Yeah.
feed 18 people, or is it going to feed one?
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's new ice accumulating. Yeah.
Quiet. Don't
Yeah.
say that, Heather.
I know, but that's
Anyway,
the
but-
problem.
But we hope it isn't that way. You know, hopefully if we get any precipitation, it's just in the form of the S word, you know, which is a lot easier on the lines than
Oh, yeah,
ice.
absolutely. Yeah.
But again, be careful out there. And if you are not sure, do you need a GeneraLink or do you need a double throw transfer switch?
You gotta contact us either way, so
Right.
just call.
Contact Intercounty. Just tell them what you want to do. If you want to back up your whole house, obviously it's not going to be a GeneraLink. You're going to have one heck of a big generator you're going to have to go buy.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, you just want to tie that straight in.
Yeah. And then you're gonna have one of those double throws.
So, yeah. Now, they don't sell generators anymore.
We do not.
So, I know years ago they used to. Somebody might say, well, I remember buying a generator from Intercounty. I did too.
Yeah.
I did. I bought one of them, and but not anymore. And so, very good, and got the assistance I needed, got it all
Good.
in and installed, and it still works like a champ. Almost 30 years later.
Good deal. We like
That's
to hear
amazing.
that. Huh.
30 years. And the sucker still works.
And he's knocking on wood again.
I pretty much am sometimes. I keep thinking,
Yeah.
I know what I paid for that one. It's going to be a lot more when I
Yeah.
replace it. So, and I'm hoping I don't have to, but, you know, 30 years is 30 years.
And good maintenance makes a difference
Yeah,
too.
we change the oil in it, and we do what we
Good.
have to do to maintain it. But it's still outside. That thing's sitting outside, and it gets hammered in every kind of weather there is. Storms, ice, heat. Plays havoc with those things, and your poor little engine sitting out there trying to keep going. But it's a good day. It's nice to know when you go and take it from auto to manual and you fire it up and it starts, that you feel pretty good. You know it's there for you if it has to happen.
Right.
Very good. So, any questions about that? Again, call Intercounty. But make yourself a nice Christmas gift if you are thinking about a backup source. Maybe you're going to buy the family a generator for Christmas. What an exciting gift. But it may be an exciting gift
When you need it.
when you need it.
Yeah.
So, but it might be something that people do. They consider some family gifts like that. I think it's a great idea. We got the family new generator. Well, what are you going to use it for? Well, you might maybe.
Well, hopefully we don't ever have to use it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's still things you use generators for. A lot of people use it when they're trying to do some work,
Outside work.
away from home.
Valid
you
point.
You need some electric. Easy to take that generator with you. You already have it. Just
Yeah.
make sure you maintain it. Don't leave your gas in there for 15 years. not a good idea.
Right, probably won't work.
Yeah, well, probably won't work. Never know, but probably won't. But, the thing is that once you have it, and if you need it, you've got it. If you don't have it, you can't go rent one when the weather gets bad. There ain't going to be any out there.
Right.
You're not going to be able to go buy one because they're all going to be bought.
Yeah.
And
you're not going to have the safety devices you need because
Right.
it's going to be
I mean, the internet's
immediate
wonderful,
need.
but the internet doesn't work very well when your electric's out and your router is down.
There's not a whole lot that works for well when the
No, I
electric's
know, I
out.
get it. But I mean,
Yeah.
but your router's down, so you said, I'll go online and I'll buy me a generator. Well, okay, you try and get online and your electric's down. You're not getting anything. It says not connected to the internet.
Yeah.
Not a good sign. But even if you get something on the internet, don't believe those commercials where it's there the next day. It won't be.
Yeah.
Not a generator. More than likely. I mean, you might get lucky. But more than likely.
Not during a storm, I
Not
don't
during
think.
a storm. You're
Yeah.
going to find it. No, it's amazing. And it's not just the storms in Missouri that affect that. I think, Heather, that's unfortunate that people do think that. Like right now, Buffalo and upper New York just got hammered
Oh, really?
with all that snow. Well, they were 2 feet in Buffalo.
Amazing.
I mean, and they had stuff shut down. Guess what? Generators that were out there, if they didn't have them, they're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
It's
just
the
way-
truth, yeah.
Even if it's from Missouri, they'll find it. They can go online and find that generator sitting at Lowe's or
Wherever.
Ace Hardware, wherever it is, and say, hey, you guys ship that here? I need it today. Well, if they're going to make a premium on it, why not? Right?
Yeah.
Well,
If they
that's
can.
it's called business.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't care to ship it to New York. You're going to pay for it. It's a heavy box, too, generator.
I was going to say, it's not going to be light either.
No, and it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But these are all things people need to take into consideration. Please think ahead. That's all we're really saying. Also, hopefully, you've already changed out your filter for the winter season. We had some nice days, like you're talking about Saturday, where it's just gorgeous. But we've had some cold days already. We had a nice cold morning this morning, and we had a colder morning yesterday morning. It was down to
Yeah.
20 with a wind chill of, 13?
It was
And
cold.
then this
yeah.
morning, it was 23 with a wind chill of 15.
Felt warm, didn't it?
Well, I don't know. I just,
Not to me.
I'm very fortunate. I kind of live down in a recessed area,
So not
I
a lot of
don't get a
wind.
lot of that wind in the early
Yeah.
morning. I mean, there's some that gets there, but not much. But not if like a 15, 20 mile an hour wind. I usually don't get that in the morning, which is great. It's cold,
Right.
but then when I get up and come into the station, oh, that's out in the open.
That's a different
That's
story.
a whole
isn't
different
it?
ball game, and you're just getting whacked with that wind. So, yeah, please be careful out there. Very, very careful. So, Christmas,
Yes. Christmas.
I'm sure you guys have holiday hours.
We do. So we will be closed on Monday, the 25th. That's actually Christmas Day. That's the only day for Christmas that will be closed. And
Oh,
then
wow.
the following week, the next Monday, is New Year's Day. So we'll be closed those 2 Mondays. Monday,
Well, that's it.
December 25th. That's it.
You're not taking the state days off or federal days off.
No, we don't get those.
Wow. Well,
I mean, if you feel so inclined to make that suggestion to the yeah, no, but and even on that day, we still have a dispatcher in the office, and that's a big point that I want to make. If you wake up and it's Christmas Day and your power is out, please don't think you have to sit there all day and
especially
wait.
that reindeer went through your line.
Yeah, we need to know, and there is a dispatcher 24/7, nights, weekends, holidays. We've got somebody there. So don't think, oh, it's Christmas Day, there's not going to be anybody in. There is. And if you have an emergency like that where your power is out, do not wait until the next day to call us. More than likely, we're going to know. We're going to get a notification
Sure.
from our metering system, but call us and let us know that your power's out. We can take down your phone number. We can see if it's something we can do in the office or if we have to send somebody out. We have an on-call list.
Right.
Our line crew, they know what nights and weekends and holidays they're assigned, and they're ready at a moment's notice to.
Hopefully it never happens.
Hopefully it doesn't,
But
but if it
could.
does, just
No.
know that we do have people.
Santa's fallen off a roof before.
I've heard.
Yeah. But hopefully the weather will be great, and we'll get through the holidays without any issues, and that'd be great. But again, the offices will be closed on both Monday, Christmas Day, and on Monday, New Year's Day.
That's correct. Yep.
Very good. Very good. So you got big plans for Christmas?
Always, yeah. But what a blessing to have big old family.
It
So
is.
I'm not going to complain.
Enjoy it while you can.
Absolutely. And I hope our members enjoy, and whether you're spending it with family or friends, or hopefully you get to spend it with someone. And if not, I don't know what organizations you have here. Do you guys have anything local that does like a dinner or anything?
I don't know if they're doing a Christmas
Sometimes
Day. First
different
Baptist Church
churches
used to do
yeah.
a dinner, and there's some other organizations that did. I think his place did as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just not sure of all the different places, especially with Christmas falling on a Monday. So I'm not quite sure what
Yeah.
they're doing. I would think that there would be some, definitely some different things going on. The Catholic Church will have their service on Monday, so they may have something planned after that. Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe so.
There's a lot of different things that go on, and I'm sure if people search it out, they'll be able to find some different things. But
Good.
yeah, do try and take some time to spend with your family and friends, and really appreciate it, because things happen quickly. We have seen a rash of people pass here, and way too early in life. But tomorrow's an unknown. We don't know if we're ever going to be here tomorrow. And take you while you can today, and enjoy the days that you have. Enjoy the family around you. Heather's got a couple of young ones, and pretty soon they're going to be teenagers, and then off and gone. And
Oh, they're
I
already
mean,
teenagers.
well, I meant
Yeah.
older
I've got a
teen-
senior.
I know older teenagers that are getting ready to move on in their
Right.
life, and
Yeah.
and that's it. That first time or two, I know, affected my mom.
Yeah.
When all the 4 kids weren't there at Christmas
The lonely.
morning. Well, I mean, it's just you're used to that. I mean, for how many years that was the case,
Right.
and then it went down to 3. Then from 3 to 2 to 1 and none.
Yeah.
So it happens very quickly.
Quickly.
And then when the grandkids come, and mom and dads bring all the grandkids and give them back. Here, grandma, grandpa, take them.
Yeah.
It is kind of fun, and they enjoy it. And that's great. That's what family and the holidays really are all about. Enjoy the times you get with them.
Yeah.
They're way too short.
Absolutely.
They really are. But also, our time with Intercounty is always way too short, too. So I don't have anything else.
I just want to kind of a little teaser for next month. Make sure you tune in next month and listen, because we will be talking a lot about Youth Tour. We'll be in the classrooms
we
after
will.
Christmas break. We don't have Salem scheduled yet, but I think we've all got but about 2 or 3 schools scheduled for January after Christmas
Okay.
break to be in talking about Youth Tour.
Youth Tour. There was one other thing, and I think you gave it last month. Pretty sure you did. Was the winners from the
Cycle?
no
Oh.
the winners from your appreciation days? for
Oh,
the
yeah.
electric. I think
Yeah,
we gave
I
that
shared
last
those
month.
in November, but
Okay.
they're in the December magazine if you haven't looked at that. And we got some pictures that we've shared from the Member Appreciation Day events, and then
There
the
you
lists
go.
of winners, and served almost 5,000
Yeah.
meals.
Yeah,
So
you
it
guys
was
are
good.
busy.
It was good.
Whew.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought we had, but I wasn't sure if we did. I thought, I might bring that back up, because some people had a Christmas gift early.
Yeah, a little bit of credit
Along
on their
with a
electric
sandwich.
bill. Yeah, good burger.
If I don't say so myself, we are all appreciating our county
Well,
doing
thank
their
you.
I should say member appreciation day. I don't want to say customer.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah, I know, but I used to get hammered on that years ago. You've lightened up on me on that.
Well,
Still member appreciation.
It's
But
mem-
then
it's
again, I
member
usually
appreciation.
recognize it pretty quick, because I know the wrath of Heather's
yeah.
coming down.
Member.
Heather, thank you very much for
Yeah,
coming by.
thank you.
And your family have a fantastic Christmas
you
and
as
New
well.
Year's. And, of course, we look forward to seeing our friends from Intercounty in 2024.
I know. Can you believe that?
No, you're way too fast.
It went by fast.
It's way too fast. I'm not ready for that. No. But thanks for the offer. Anyway, here at KSMO Radio, stick around. We've got some AP news, statewide news, and then civic happenings coming up. KSMO Radio, 1340 AM, 95.7.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley.